Makar Sankranti is the day Bhishma, great warrior and spiritual leader from the Mahabharata, chose to die. So, now you're probably wondering why we celebrate an old man's death. Well, there's more to Makar Sankranti. Makar means Capricorn, the zodiac sign, not the vegetable, and Sankrant means the movement of the sun's rays from below the equator to above it. As the northern hemisphere of the earth tilts towards the sun, the days in India grow longer, and there is more light than darkness every day starting on January 14th. Makar Sankranti marks the coming of spring, the entrance of the harvest season, the victory of light over darkness, and renewed strength. Bhishma chose to die on Makar Sankranti because Lord Krishna proclaimed in chapter 8 of the Bhagavad Gita that those who die in Uttarayan, the 6-month period following Makar Sankranti, will become one with him. It's time to learn how Indians across the country celebrate this momentous occasion. First stop, South India.
South India is an amazing region, and Makar Sankranti is a very great festival, so it must be really fascinating to know what takes place during this time of year. Although many regions know it as Makar Sankranti, South India dubs this festival based on how it's celebrated. Let's start off with Kerala. Kerala, or God's own country, honors this occasion as Sabrimala or Makara Vilaku. On this day, the devotees of the deity Ayyappa and their 40-day pilgrimage are Anusthana with a huge ceremony. Legend has it that Lord Sri Rama and his brother Lakshman met Sabri, a tribal devotee, at Sabrimala. Sabri offered them fruits after tasting them, but they accepted them gladly and wholeheartedly. Ram then turned and saw a divine person meditating. He asked Sabri who it was. Sabri said it was Ayyappa. Rama walked towards Ayyappa and he stood up to welcome Rama. The anniversary of this incident is celebrated on Makara Vilaku Day. It is believed that on this day, Lord Ayyappa stops his meditation to bless his devotees. In the coastal regions, this holy day is dedicated to Lord Indra. Also, at around dusk, a celestial miracle occurs in the sky, and the people here take it as a moment of fulfillment. Moving on to Tamil Nadu. The people of Tamil Nadu praise this festivity as Pongal, which is considered more important to them than Diwali, especially in the rural regions. This observance is called Pongal because of the popular dish that involves the overflowing of boiling rice in a pot of milk. Pongal is also famous for its dish of rice and pulses cooked in with milk or ghee, which is usually offered to Surya and other gods. During this event, a countless amount of bonfires and feasts take place. There are 3 days of Pongal. Bhogi Pongal, the first day, is a day for family. Surya Pongal is honored for the worship of the sun god, and Matu Pongal, the last day, is observed for the worship of cattle and livestock. Let's take a look at Karnataka. In Karnataka, they celebrate this occasion as Sankranti. Additionally, cattle and other livestock are embellished and worshipped. Later, special prayers are said, and in the evening, the cattle are to jump over the bonfires, like previously in the day. But this isn't the only thing that Sankranti is lionized for in this state. At Gavi Ganga Thureshwara Temple in Bangalore, the sun's rays briefly pass through the Nandi's horns in the evening and then fall on the lingam in the sanctum. This is considered a great omen to start the year with. Now we'll go to Andhra Pradesh. In Andhra Pradesh, Veda Panduga is the harvest festival which takes place over the period of 4 days. On the first day, Bhogi, a bonfire of old waste is lit at dawn to symbolize the arrival of a new harvesting season. On the following day, Sankranti, sweet as Pongal, a rice pudding, and a resalu, or rice cakes, are distributed on the behalf of welfare and kindness towards others. The third day, Kanuma, proceeds with the decoration of livestock along with animal races and fights. The last day, Mukkanama, ends this auspicious celebration as festivities slowly die down. On to our second destination, East India.
In West Bengal, Makar Sankranti is celebrated by the general population in the festival of Ganga Sagar Mela. Ganga Sagar is the mouth of the Ganga, and here the general population comes to bathe in the holy waters. Sadhus or spiritual leaders come to bathe in the Ganga Sagar on Kumbh Mela, another festival. The general population also conducts a puja in the ashram of Kapila Muni on Ganga Sagar Mela. The significance of Kapila Muni dates back to the time of the origin of Ganga. King Sagar, one of Lord Rama's ancestors, had 2 queens, Keshini and Sumati. Keshini gave birth to Asamanjas, and Sumati gave birth to 60,000 sons. All of King Sagar's sons were unruly and adharmic. Asamanjas, as an adult, had a virtuous son named Anshuman. King Sagar realized that it was his duty to choose a righteous heir to the throne. So, King Sagar, full of woe, banished all of his terrible sons and made Anshuman the next king. Years later, King Sagar started the Ashwamedha Yajna. Basically, he released a white stallion to run freely throughout India. Anyone who caught this horse would ride it back to Sagar's palace and challenge him for the kingdom. Asamanjas and the other 60,000 sons were scouring the land in search of this horse so they could challenge Sagar and take the throne. As the horse was galloping across the country, Lord Indra stole it and tied it to Kapila Muni's ashram while Kapila Muni was in meditation. When the sons found the horse tied to Kapila Muni's ashram, they were enraged and threatened to attack the sage. Kapila Muni was woken from his meditation, and out of anger, he cursed the sons and incinerated them. Anshuman arrived on the scene and pacified Kapila Muni's anger. Anshuman then inquired as to how he should remove the sins and curse placed on his ancestors. Kapila Muni, pleased by Anshuman, told him that only the purity in the waters of the Ganga could purge his ancestors of their curse. Anshuman would have to perform penance for many years to please Brahmaji, who would then order Ganga to descend from the heavens. Knowing this, Anshuman made his son, Dilip, heir to the throne, and then ventured off into the forest. Several years later, Anshuman died in the forest. When King Dilip was of age, he too prayed to Brahmaji in the forest and succumbed to death. Dilip's son, Bhagiratha, followed in his father's footsteps and went into the forest. After a number of years, Brahmaji descended from the heavens and gave Bhagiratha what he wanted. However, Brahmaji told Bhagiratha that when Ganga came crashing down from the heavens, she would annihilate the earth. Heeding this advice, Bhagirath gained Lord Shiva's favor by praying to him for a number of years. When Lord Shiva finally appeared in front of Bhagirath, Bhagirath asked Lord Shiva to protect the earth when Ganga plummeted from the heavens. Immediately, Brahmaji ordered Ganga to go to the earth. As she fell, Shiva's head took the tremendous blow to safeguard the earth, and every drop of water gently flowed from Shiva's hair to the area we know as West Bengal. Bhagirath then directed Ganga across West Bengal to Kapila Muni's ashram, where the ashes and sins of his ancestors were washed away. The story of Bhagirath is one of devotion and perseverance. It reminds us that a single dip in the holy waters of the Ganga can wash away more than a lifetime of sins. In Orissa, devotees worship the sun god in the great Konark temple. Konark is derived from the Sanskrit word Kona, meaning angle, and Arka, meaning sun god. Konark is a small town on the coast of the Bay of Bengal. This temple is designed as a chariot of the sun god, Surya, with 12 pairs of exquisitely carved stone wheels drawn by 7 spirited horses. The 7 horses depict the 7 days of the week, and the 24 wheels are the hours of the day. Auspicious mantras dedicated to Suryadeva are chanted for 3 days straight. In the temple of Lord Jagannatha, this festival is called Nabanki and Uttarayana Yatra. It also marks the start of their new year and is celebrated by lighting bonfires, singing, dancing, and eating special dishes. Households make special rice dishes like Makara Chaula. Next stop, Northeast India.
The Assamese celebration of Sankranti is called Bhogali Bihu, which is also known as Magh Bihu. It is celebrated at the end of the harvesting season, which is mid-January on the first day of the month of Magh of the Assamese calendar. Bhogali means a handiness of rich food, hence the festival is characterized by feasting. The celebrations start on the last day of Posh, before the actual Bihu day. On the eve of the first day of Magh, people build a meji, a structure made of hay, wood, or tree leaves. The meji is to be burned the next day. The meji is guarded by everyone through the night, so they build makeshift cottages to stay in near the meji, which are called belagars. In the night, the people prepare food and everyone in the community feasts. This feast is called Bhoj. The whole night is spent around the meji, singing Bihu songs and beating a dhol, a type of drum. The next morning, after taking a bath at dawn, everyone stands around the meji and one elder of the society or village lights it on fire. All the villagers get together at the meji and complete many rituals. Various foods such as coconut and betel nut are offered to the meji for Agni, the god of fire. Potatoes are roasted in the fire and are distributed among the villagers for eating. Various types of jolpan and pitas are given to everyone. Also, it is believed that the fire of the meji is supposed to burn the winter out. There are several kinds of traditional sports that are played where everyone in the village participates. The most popular sport is an egg fight. It is played all across the state of Assam. There are also traditional sports that involve pets. The most exciting one is a buffalo fight. There are also bird fights. These bird fights mainly have either hens or nightingales. And now on to North India.
In Punjab, Lohri celebrates fertility and the joy of life. Wheat, the main crop, is planted in October. In January, farmers celebrate Lohri before harvesting the crops in March or April. On the morning of Lohri, children go from door to door singing and demanding for loot or sweets. They sing in praise of Dulla Bhatti, a Punjabi avatar of Robin Hood, who robbed from the rich to help the poor. It is similar to Halloween. Later in the day, bonfires are lit and rice and jaggery are offered to the fire. As the flames ignite, families feast on traditional food items. Bhangra, a traditional Punjabi dance, is performed along with the rhythm of the dhol and gitta. The day following Lohri is known as Maghi, to signify the beginning of the month of Magh. On this auspicious day, many take a holy dip in the Ganga river and give away charity. Sweet dishes, usually kheer, are prepared with the sugarcane juice to mark the day. In Uttar Pradesh, Sankranti is known as Khichdi, or Bhog. On this day, many folks take a dip in the holy rivers. It is believed that anyone who does not take a dip in the holy rivers on this auspicious day will be born as a donkey in his or her next birth. Donating khichdi, a mixture of cooked rice and lentils, is one of the
significant aspects of Bhog. A big fair is also held in Triveni Sangam in Allahabad to mark the occasion. Also, Magha Mela, a big fair, is held at the beginning of the month of Magha. Many kite flying competitions are also held in various places to mark the occasion. In Uttarakhand, on the day of Ghugutia, people donate khichdi to charity and take a dip in the holy rivers such as Kumau, Bageshwari, and Rani Bagh. Big fairs are held at Karnaprayag and Nandaprayag. During the festivals, people make fried sweets using wheat flour that are shaped like drums, pomegranates, knives, swords, etc. The sweets are strung into necklaces that are worn by the children on the morning of Ghugutia. The children then go around singing to attract crows and other migratory birds and offer them the edible necklaces. The next stop is West India.
Makar Sankranti is known as Uttarayan in Gujarat because the sun returns to the northern hemisphere. It is believed that the heavens open up and the gods are awakened from their sleep. During the month of January, people eagerly look forward to the kite festival because soon the skies will be filled with vibrant kites of different colors, shapes, and sizes. Generations of kite makers get to work to make kites ranging from fish, tigers, Ganpati Bappa to even Cupid. The idea is to compete with other kites by cutting off their manchas. Manchas are sharp kite strings made with glass fibers and glue. Families and friends gather on terraces and enjoy undio, puri, laddu, jilebi, shangdana, and chikki. When the sun sets, the night sky is dotted with bright tukkos or lanterns. These box kites illuminate Gujarat, the land of legends. In Maharashtra, during Makar Sankranti, people take a dip in Yamuna, Ganga, Godavari, Kaveri, and Krishna because it's believed that taking a dip in these holy rivers earns high merit. The importance behind a lot of Indian traditions has been forgotten. For example, all the black clothes you guys are wearing aren't just because we all want to match. And those tirarche ladu, tirachi vadi, tirgur, and the abundant amount of tir you guys have been eating lately are related to Sankranti. If you haven't noticed, the weather has been really cold lately, and as you have learned in science, the color black absorbs all the wavelengths of light and converts them into heat. Sesame seeds do the same job. Other than scientific importance, Hardi Kunku and Bodnan are some things we do just for fun. Women get together and apply Hardi, which is turmeric, and Kunku, which is vermilion. There is no need to put on perfume to these events because the scent of the fragrant perfume and rose water are enough. Bornan, on the other hand, is an all-kids event. Bornan literally means to bathe with berries. The child is dressed in the reoccurring black clothes and ornaments made from halwa. Nowadays, toddlers in Marathi households are bathed with anything ranging from candy, cookies, laddu, tirgur, and berries. While this is happening, the children invited to this event scramble to get as many of these items as they can. If you haven't been to Bornan, here's a great example of what goes on.
Now let's recap. Through this video,
We intended to explore how Makar Sankranti,
It's celebrated in some of the major parts of India.
It is celebrated throughout India.
with similar concepts but distinct names.
For example, in Maharashtra it is called Makar Sankranti.
Uttarayan in Gujarat of West India,
Lori in Punjab of North India,
Bhogali Bihu in Assam of Northeast India.
Makar Sankranti in East India.
Pongal in South India,
And Sukarat or Sakarat in Madhya Pradesh.
bonfires are lit on Bhogi in Andhra Pradesh.
Lori in Punjab, and Bhogali Bihu in
Assam.
Sweets, sugarcane, old clothes, and logs of wood
are offered to the fire, even old habits.
Spices and attachments are sacrificed.
And this sacrificial fire as a holy ritual.
The day begins with a dip in rivers.
A special prayer to the Surya Deva.
or the sun god. The Hindus nullify their sins
by bathing in holy rivers like the Ganga in Uttar Pradesh.
Ganga Sagar in West Bengal and Brahmaputra in Orissa.
Our minds are cleansed like the bodies,
which come out purified after a dip in the holy waters.
The sun is worshipped and honored
by Surya Namaskar, chanting Surya mantras, and Aditya Hrudaya.
We pray to the sun first,
and also thank Mother Nature by
honoring and decorating the cattle used to till her lands.
We pay our respect to the cows
by feeding them with prasad on Puri.
Even the birds are fed in Uttarakhand.
We distribute food and give charity.
It is said that if we donate on this day,
we get 1,000 times more in return.
People donate their clothes, money, and corn to the needy.
The nation celebrates with sweets, dance, and music.
All over the country, tea, rice, and gur
are the main ingredients in the delicacies.
Just to name a few.
Pita in Assam, sweet pongal in Tamil Nadu.
Tirgurachi poi ani ladu in Maharashtra and Tirgur chikki in Gujarat.
The idea of the feast promotes communal harmony
and creates goodwill for the community.
These thoughts led to the creation
of Tirgur Kya Gord Gord Bola.
The regional variations of the festival, however,
are what make this festival infinitely varied and beautiful.
Despite the wide variety of rituals and customs,
we notice that there is unity
in the basic concept of Makar Sankranti.
It is a joyful celebration of nature.
By honoring Surya, we are honoring God's entire creation. Tirgur Kya Gord Gord Bola. Jai Hind!
कुछ करिए नस नस मेरी खो दे हाय कुछ करिए बस बस बड़ा बो दे अब कुछ करिए